Hey everybody, Andrew here again. One of the guys, Lee, on Irish Vaping or Vaping Ireland, both I think, very kindly sent me a sample of a liquid which I've been wanting to try for a long time. Now, this liquid comes from Alien Visions and is one of those liquids that it just seems to be impossible to get. I've tried to get it in the past and failed miserably. So it was a real treat when he managed to get hold of some for himself and gave me a bit of a sample to try. So here it is now. This is my scrawly bloody writing on it, so ignore that. But you can see the colour of it. It's quite, it's really sort of amber, kind of heading towards brown sort of colour. As you can see, it's quite gloopy. It's a really thick liquid. Now, when you smell it, it's a kind of a sweet tobacco-y kind of a smell. A couple of people have said that, you know, it's almost like a, you know, a kind of slightly currenty smell as well. And just trying to get me drip tip off the dripper here. I put some new O-rings on it and I'm not sure that I should have put those on. But anyway, so look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it on me yoke with an E-Baron dripper on it, okay? This isn't the first time I've tried it. I've been trying it quite a bit recently because it's absolutely gorgeous. And so I'll just give you my hint of, or my feeling of what it is. And I know that there's lots of reviews out there about it, and I know that, like lots of them, it's like, you know, Grant's Vanilla Custard or, you know, Fluid or all these different kind of famous liquids that are out there. A lot of them are fairly sort of complex in terms of their makeup, and in a lot of cases, you know, people's descriptions of them, they just vary wildly. Now, whether or not, and there has been talk, you know, in the past about the Boba's Bounty coming out, that, you know, there is a difference between some of the batches that come out. And some people think that that's absolutely, you know, disastrous and all of that. But I suppose if you're using really good ingredients, it's just like wine or like anything else, you know, you can get slight variations in flavour. So you could be using exactly the same ingredients, the same makeup, everything is exactly the same. But just because a couple of the constituents within it, you know, are slightly stronger or slightly less strong, and that's coming from, you know, the original thing. Say if you have something steeping in it, and some of the tobaccos out there would have, you know, tobacco leaves steeping in the actual liquid. Well, if that one leaf happens to be slightly stronger than the leaf that you put into the previous batch or whatever, then that can have an effect. So I don't have a problem with there being slight variations as long as it fundamentally does taste the same, because I think in some cases the ones that are always absolutely identical, there's a good chance that the ingredients that are within it are artificial and, you know, perhaps you know, manufactured in, you know, in a very clinical, very unnatural kind of way. But that's just my little rant, so you can ignore it if you like. So here we have it. I think it's sitting on its, the coil in this is a 1.8 and we're on a pretty much a fresh battery. So let's give it a go and see what it's like. The first thing off it, for me, now I get things that some other people don't get off it. The first thing that I get is, well, there's a really nice sweetness when it's on the way in. And the first impression I had when I tried it the first time was the smell that you get, and again, this is from my dark and distant past, when people used to smoke pipes and, you know, there was pipe tobacco around, and I think there was a pipe tobacco called McQuaid or something like that. And there was a smell, if you opened up one of those tins of tobacco, there was a smell of that tobacco. So it doesn't smell like cigarettes. It smells like a sort of a pipe tobacco. That sort of really rich, slightly sweet, slightly sort of honey kind of a smell. I'm getting that as being the first taste when I actually try this. Also what I get in it is there's a hint of chocolate, for me anyway. I'm getting a hint of dark chocolate in it. It's one of those bitter chocolates. This is like more the sort of the real high cocoa content chocolates. So it's you know, it's on the sort of slightly bitter side, but it's, you know, you can picture it in your mind. This is almost black, this chocolate. I mean, this is seriously dark chocolate. Now that's not a very, very strong taste, and the tobacco for me is the strongest taste. The other thing that I'm getting in it is, it's almost like sultanas or currants or raisins. So the sweetness that is there, that's kind of where it's coming from. If you get a sultana or a raisin, and you know, you bite into it, there's a kind of slightly edgy sweetness to it. I mean, they always call, I think, sultanas, don't they call them the sweets of, you know, nature sweets or whatever. And you know, if your kids you don't want them eating Skittles or something, give them some raisins, and eventually they get used to them and start shouting at you and stuff and end up liking them, and they happen to be quite good for them. Well, that's a flavour that I'm getting in this as well. Now, there's also probably a hint of vanilla in there, but only just a hint. So for me, Boba's Bounty, been wanting to try it for a long, long time. What it tastes to me is it's very much tobacco, but it is more, the taste is more like the smell that you get off a really rich pipe tobacco, which is really, really pleasant. And then I'm getting sort of currants or raisins or something like that, which is kind of the sweetie side. I'm getting a bit of chocolate in there as well. And then the other one that I didn't mention, and for me it's certainly there, but it's not, you know, right at the top of it, is there is some coconut in there as well. Definitely there's some coconut. Yeah, again, it's there. From what I can tell anyway, there's coconut in there as well. So they're the constituent elements that I can detect from it. In terms of the vapour is fantastic off it. Yeah, stacks and stacks of vapour. The flavour is, it just explodes, you know, it's just... And the more I've actually been vaping it, the more I like it, the more depressed I'm going to get as well, because the more I know that I'm not going to be able to get hold of the stuff. So, you know, really, it's that whole thing of why get to like something when you know that you can never have it again. But, you know, it's better to have loved and lost than never loved at all, as they say. So, yeah, all in all, I would say throat hit is great, vapour is fantastic, flavour is amazing. This is completely the wrong thing to be saying about it, but any of you who know what a plum pudding is like or a Christmas pudding is like, and you get that sort of really kind of rich thing, it's been sort of sitting in your mum's press for 2 years getting ready to be sort of steamed for Christmas Day, and there's just this fullness, this total rounded flavour to it, you know, which has come from age, you know, and for sitting there and everything intermingling and everything sort of, you know, coming together to work perfectly in unison. Well, that's kind of what this is. That's it. Boba's Bounty. Absolutely gorgeous. If you can get it, get it. If you can't, there are some things around out there, some of which I've been kindly sent by somebody who, and I've smelt them, I haven't tried them yet, but certainly 1 or 2 of them are incredibly like this. So what I'll do is I'll do sometime in the next, over the next period, I'll do a little video and I'll just do a comparison between the 2 of them, just to see how close they are. But that's it, Boba's Bounty, 12 milligram. Thank you, Lee, for giving me the sample. It's great to taste it. It's a fantastic juice. I do understand why so many people go on about it. And if you can get hold of it, I would if I were you. Cheers!